Hey, hope you're doing well today. And today we're going to go through the most powerful node in NA10, and that's this node right here called the code node. So everyone seems to want to avoid it. No one's ever talking about it, so I thought I'd make a video about it. And it's probably one of the most important nodes that an NA10 workflow can have because it's going to bring more reliability to your workflow. It's going to put less stress on your AI agents, which is really important if you're, after consistent results. And it's just going to make everything a lot smoother. So let's get into it. Now I want to show you a really good example of this as well, okay? So if we look at this little X HTTP request right here, okay? Now I'm just going to run this, and I want you to look at the actual output from this node right here, okay? So we'll open this up, and look at the output, okay? As you can see here, it is a complete and utter mess to find everything that we need. So if we actually want to find, like, okay, in this case, the full text, okay? So this is from X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and we can see the full text right here. Now, if I was to drag that over, look at it. It's a complete and utter mess, right? So how are we actually going to extract all those? So a lot of people, what they would do is they might say, oh, I'll split it out, right? I'll split it out, that'll get it, right? But look at the whole structure here on the left. We can't do that. So even if I took the entries, for instance, and I put it over here and I tested that step, even though that's already done, but I'm going to do it for the sake of doing it, we can see right here, it is still a complete and utter mess. So we can't extract anything from there. Now, if we use the set node, for instance, and I'll just delete this one here, I want to get that exact same little full text item that we saw previously, which was somewhere along, there we go. And let's just say I took this. So that's not going to do anything. That's just going to bring one item over here. But we have a lot, right? Because there are a lot of items here that we want to extract. And, even if we do it this way, well, good luck with that. That's not going to last long. So what we can actually do, though, to make our life a hell of a lot easier and open up even more opportunities and doors is this right here, okay? So just using a simple code node, and we'll use a prompt as well. Now, they do have an Ask AI on the end here, which is terrific if it worked half the time, and it doesn't. So that's the problem. So I'm going to give you two methods here. I'll show you how we can do it through Ask AI, and I also want to show you how we can do it through a large language model like a chat model, okay? So if I take, let's say I wanted to take those items. So it was called full text or something like that. So in this one right here, I have finding JSON objects and returning all of them, okay? So I'm going to just copy this little prompt right here. Copy that. I'll bring it over to Grok 3. Now, Grok 3, it might sound like a strange choice. It gets it right every time. I'm telling you right now, okay? Gemini and Claude, you have to refine it. Now, I've already refined this prompt, but I'm just saying, Grok got it right the first time every time. So I open this up. The property that I wanted to extract was full text. So I'll just do full text just like that, and I'll press send. And for some reason, it's not going to put in a code block, but that's all right. I'm just going to copy that. Come back over to my workflow. Paste it in the code right here, and then press test step. And what you'll see right here is that full text that was, deeply nested in this, whatever the hell you want to call this, this complete and utter mess. And now it's extracted all the full text from everything, okay? So I don't have to go in there manually and try to find, where is it, and put it through a bloody split and then a set node and all this. We can just use code straight away and get the job done right now, okay? So that's why I love this. Now, as another example, let's say in this case, I wanted to extract, let's say 2 values, okay? So we'll just even copy this again over here, and I'll just say full text, and let's grab another little value here. I don't know really which one. Let's just say views count, okay? We'll just do that one. It's a nice and easy one. It's right there for us. So we've got full text and count. Paste that in, send it off, and we get some more code right here, and we copy this, bring it back to our workflow, paste it in there, press test step, and now we should have full text and count as well. Okay, so now, yeah, we got the full text, and we also get the counts. Now the counts, I believe, actually there should be the same amount, yeah, but we can see there's a little bit of a difference between some. Maybe some have them, some don't, I'm not sure. But we can see that it's extracting everything, and that's a really easy way to save a lot of time and headache, right, to extract the exact things that we need. All right, so I think this one is a good test as well. So we have the Microsoft Outlook here, and the Microsoft Outlook, I'm getting the calendar events right here. So if we actually look on the left, we actually have date time. So let's just assume in this case I want to get the date times, right? So the dates and the times, and we have two of them, okay? So we can see here we have date time for the start and date time for the end, okay? Now, what's the problem here if we look at this straight away? Both of the names are exactly the same, right? Because we have date time here and date time here. So if I said date time only in that prompt, how are we going to differentiate between the two? So if we just drag this across, okay, and now we can actually see that it says JSON.start.datetime. And if I bring the other one across as well, we see this one has JSON.end.datetime, okay? So what we want to be using right here is probably just this, okay? Because we don't want to use the first and everything like that, because that's just only going to extract the first value, which is just going to be this right here. We want to get all of them. We can see right here we've got 76 items. So I'll move that down. Come back over here. I'll grab my little prompt right here. Come back to N8N. Paste that in here. And for the names, okay, the properties, I'm just going to put it just like this. Bring him up. Put a space right there. Copy all that. Delete it. I'm over to Grok, and I'm going to paste that in. And I'm just going to send. Okay. And there we go. So let's just copy all that code. Jump back over to N8N, paste it in here, press test step. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so as we can see right here, we have the start.datetime, and we also have the end.datetime as well. Okay, so we can already see, straight away between the two exact same names for these items, we can still output them just by putting in a little dot there. Okay, now the reason why I bring this up is very, very important, because if I actually took all those dates and I processed them, let's say I want to get all the dates of all my calendar events or whatever it was, and I use an AI agent just like this, right? This is so unreliable for massive amounts of data. It's all right if you're extracting, one date, 2 dates, or 3 dates, that's pretty easy for it to handle. But if we're talking about 50 items, 100 items, and you're expecting your little AI agent here to handle all of those, good luck, okay? Because what you're going to find is that it might work sometimes, and a lot of the time it's not going to work. Or sometimes it does work, but a lot is missing, and it's just a mess. So this is the reason why, using code to deal with the heavier tasks is going to be very important, to make your workflows a lot more efficient as well. Now, there's another little thing I wanted to show you here as well, and that is using expressions, all right? So you're going to look at this and you're going to be like, well, this is so simple and boring. Well, you're kind of right there as well about that. But in this case, I'm going to use a chat trigger and a Telegram trigger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little set node here. And I mean, I could go directly to the agent as well, but I just want to show you how we can set all this up, okay? So using a set node here, we have 2 inputs, right? So it's coming from the chat input, and it's also coming from Telegram. Now, if I wanted to use both of those, you'll see what a lot of people do, and I'll just actually send a little message here as well, just so we can get a little bit of data coming through. Oh, he's bloody running. Okay. So what a lot of people will do here is they'll actually put like this right here. So we have the chat input here. And then let's just assume in this case, I'll send a little Telegram message as well. Okay. And we'll bring over that Telegram message. Now, what is the problem here? Well, since I haven't sent a message via the chat input, which was the NA10 chat little thing there, this is now red and undefined. Okay, but now the Telegram one is green. But what if we want to use both of those? Okay, and we didn't want to have to get rid of either one of them and just to use one. Well, what we can do is actually just come over here. Okay, so we'll use this one as an example, and we just want to make sure that we're not directly on the actual text itself. So make sure you have a space. Okay, we're going to put these two little lines. Don't ask me what they call. I call them lines. Put another little space there. Okay, now in between here is what we want to put. Okay, so this is obviously the chat input, but let's say in this case we also want to get the Telegram. So I'm going to move over the Telegram. I'm going to place it right in the middle right here. And as we can see right now, okay, so I'll delete that. I mean, that's exactly the same. I'm going to delete it anyway. But now we can see that the value from either chat input or from the message.txt, which is from Telegram, are going to pass through, okay? Now, this is important because this now allows us to go through and then the agent receives it. And since this is JSON.txt, because that's what I've said in the set node right there, we can just use one value here. So we could essentially have right now, I don't really have a webhook to test, but assume I had a webhook and it was all connected and I said something to it, like hello or something like that. I could also have the webhook in here as well, okay? And I could essentially just put it here and then also bring in the values of this webhook, which, I don't have anything in. And all of those messages from all different places would actually come through and pass, and we can actually just put a single little expression in here, which is going to return all the values from all different sources and all different inputs, okay? Now, this is very important. Maybe a lot of people know, but I know a lot of people don't know as well. Okay, and this is going to be a lot more efficient, a lot more clean when you're dealing with various different types of inputs. All right, so I'm going to give this a little test right now just so you can see that it all works. So I'll just say, what's 5 times 4? What am I doing? All right, so I'll pass that through, and then the agent receives it. Now, if I come over to Telegram, so I'll test the workflow, and I'll say exactly the same thing. What's 5 times 5? We'll see that it passes through because, well, it's accepting it and accepting the inputs from either one of those values. Okay, either one of those values, either one of those inputs. Okay, so we got the Telegram that's being passed through, or we can have the chat input, or we can have the webhook. Now, this looks simple, but when you have a very complex system of heaps of different inputs coming in, and this, could be, actually, I'm going to give you a little example right here. We can see that I have a lot of inputs coming through to this text classifier right here, right? Now, I'm wanting to get, this one right here, which is from, a webhook, and this is from another webhook, this is coming from bloody Google Drive, and all of these are being passed through a single set node. Okay, so if we actually come over here and we actually open this up, we can see all the values, just like I said before, okay, are showing all here, right? So we can see that I have, from all the webhooks, from the transcript, which is from YouTube, from the actual summarizer as well, which is this right here. This is another input again. This is all being passed through, okay? So there's no problem with that at all. That's going to be all passed through several different inputs, as opposed to, putting them all in here, or even just going one by one, linking them all through. We can have just one beautiful expression, which is going to show and work every single time. Now, there's a lot more that you can do with your code node, okay? And I mean, you can really experiment with it, have some fun as well, because this is how you're going to make your workflow stand out, okay? They're going to become more reliable. They're going to become a lot more powerful, okay? And I think, just in terms of reliability alone is very important, especially if you're using them yourself or you're selling to clients, right? Because this is why it starts to get very important in terms of reliability of your actual workflow and your setup. So I hope you learned something new today. If you do want to explore further with me on Skool, feel free to come along and join. But if not, I'll see you in the next video.